Did you know that the 1987 P5-cent coin from the USA is considered one of the most fascinating coins in modern numismatic history, valued at an astonishing $18 million because of its unique errors and rare mistakes that make it a treasure for collectors worldwide? And if you're passionate about coin collecting or just love stories of hidden fortunes, make sure to like and subscribe for more incredible discoveries. This particular nickel was minted in Philadelphia during a period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new striking techniques and quality controls, and while most 1987 P nickels circulated normally with standard features, a very small number of coins emerged with anomalies that today are nearly priceless. These anomalies include off-center strikes, doubled dies, and unusual planchet errors that make each of these coins one of a kind and incredibly desirable among collectors who specialize in error coins. What makes the 1987 P nickel especially compelling is not just the rarity of the errors but the story behind how they happened. During the minting process, high-speed presses could misalign dies slightly, resulting in coins with doubled images or letters, and in some cases, entire design elements were partially missing or misplaced, creating what collectors refer to as dramatic minting defects. These defects were never intended by the mint, making them anomalies that only a few sharp-eyed individuals noticed at the time. Fast forward to today, and those who hold such coins can potentially see offers in the millions because of their scarcity. The $18 million valuation comes from a combination of factors, including the extreme rarity of a perfect specimen with a documented error, historical significance as a part of the late 20th century minting experiments, and the insatiable collector demand for coins that stand out from typical circulation coins. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC have verified certain examples of the 1987 P nickel, certifying them as genuine error coins, which further amplifies their market value. In addition to doubled dies and off-center strikes, some coins were found with planchet laminations where the metal surface would peel slightly, a defect that would normally devalue a coin in mass circulation but in the context of rarity becomes a collector's dream. Another layer of intrigue comes from provenance, as coins with well-documented histories, sometimes traced to original rolls or even the hands of mint inspectors, can fetch higher prices at auctions. Historical auction records show that a single 1987 P nickel with a dramatic off-center strike sold for several $1 million, and while $18 million might sound extraordinary, the story behind each coin justifies the valuation. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to the narrative of accidental artistry combined with scarcity, making it not just a coin but a piece of American minting history frozen in metal. The 1987 P nickel also serves as a gateway for those new to numismatics to understand why some coins achieve such astronomical values. It's a combination of rarity, demand condition, documented errors, and the mystique surrounding their origin. The story of this nickel exemplifies the thrill of treasure hunting in everyday objects. How something as small as a 5-cent piece can transform into a multi-million-dollar artifact due to a tiny misalignment in a minting press or a subtle flaw in a metal planchet. Enthusiasts often spend years searching through rolls of coins in hopes of spotting a similar error, and even spotting one mistake can launch a career as a dedicated coin collector or dealer. The culture around error coins like the 1987 P nickel has grown globally, with collectors sharing high-resolution images, auction results, and expert analyses online, fueling interest and driving demand even higher. Discussions often focus on the technical aspects of the minting errors, such as die rotation degrees, doubling severity, and planchet composition irregularities, which can all influence the final valuation. Interestingly, some of the most valuable specimens were initially overlooked by casual collectors, found decades later in loose change or forgotten coin rolls, demonstrating that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight. The 1987 P nickel also highlights the importance of professional grading, as coins with verified errors and high grades can attract institutional investors, museums, and private collectors willing to pay eye-popping sums, making the story of this nickel a perfect blend of history, art, and financial speculation. The narrative extends beyond numismatics to a broader lesson about attention to detail, patience, and the excitement of discovery. Whether a collector is examining the coin under magnification for subtle die shifts or studying historical minting records to authenticate its origin, every step adds to the thrill and potential reward. Over the years, the mystique of the 1987 P nickel has inspired articles, videos, and social media content, sparking curiosity among a new generation of coin enthusiasts, who often debate which eras are the most valuable and speculate on what undiscovered treasures may still be hidden in circulation. Collectors often theorize that more examples may exist in private collections, forgotten piggy banks, or coin jars, waiting to be discovered and authenticated, and this ongoing potential for discovery keeps the market vibrant, prices high, and interest in the coin ever growing. The $18 million figure may fluctuate based on auction results, market conditions, and newly discovered specimens, yet it consistently represents one of the highest valuations for a modern era coin, further cementing its status as a historical artifact and an object of intense fascination. The coin's value also reflects broader trends in rare coin collecting, where scarcity, condition, documented provenance, and uniqueness intersect to create extraordinary financial opportunities. Collectors are not merely buying metal but securing a tangible piece of history that tells a story about the production, oversight, and occasional chaos of minting at a national scale. Beyond individual coin sales, the 1987 P nickel has influenced the way collectors approach other coins, emphasizing careful scrutiny of every detail, awareness of potential minting anomalies, and the patience to research, authenticate, and preserve items properly. In some cases, coins that might have been discarded as faulty have been reevaluated decades later, resulting in multi-million-dollar surprises. And this dynamic has fueled a culture where education, community engagement, and archival research are as valuable as the coins themselves. Furthermore, the 1987 P nickel's legend demonstrates how a single minting era can ripple through the numismatic world, generating articles in collector magazines, online forums, and auction previews, creating a narrative that combines luck, skill, and historical insight. For investors, it represents a rare asset that blends collectability with financial speculation. For historians, it captures a moment in the technological evolution of the mint, and for casual enthusiasts, it provides a thrilling story about how something as small and ordinary as a 5-cent coin can reach iconic status and immense monetary value, with each verified specimen, auction result, and story passed from collector to collector. The legacy of the 1987 P nickel grows, and as interest in rare coins continues to expand globally, this particular nickel stands as a testament to the idea that fortune can be found in the smallest, most overlooked corners of everyday life. The errors and mistakes that define this coin remind us that perfection is rare, and that rarity itself can create immense value, teaching both collectors and the general public about the unpredictability of history, the power of meticulous observation, and the allure of the unknown. Whether examined for its off-center strike, doubled die, planchet flaws, or simply its incredible story, the 1987 P nickel encapsulates the magic of discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the remarkable financial potential hidden in coins that most would consider ordinary. And this ongoing fascination ensures that the legacy of the coin will endure for generations, inspiring new collectors, fueling high-profile auctions, and securing its place in the annals of numismatic history as one of the most valuable and iconic era coins ever produced in the United States. So if you're captivated by stories of fortune hidden in plain sight, the 1987 P 5-cent coin is a perfect illustration of how rarity, historical context, and minting mistakes can converge to create a coin worth $18 million. An extraordinary example of big money hidden in small change and a true legend in the world of coins. So remember to like and subscribe for more incredible coin stories and the latest updates from the fascinating world of numismatics. Next, 1990 65-cent coin. Did you know that one of the most intriguing coins in modern U.S. numismatic history is the 1990 65-cent coin, a coin that has quietly captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike due to its remarkable rarity and reported face value of $8 million? And today we are diving deep into the story behind this extraordinary piece. So make sure to like and subscribe for more fascinating coin content as we explore every detail from its historical context to the Unique errors and anomalies that make it so valuable, beginning with the circumstances of its minting in 1996 at the Denver Mint, where a combination of high production standards and occasional human or mechanical errors can result in coins that stand out decades later. The 1996 nickel might appear at first glance to be an ordinary 5-cent piece featuring the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, but closer inspection reveals subtle variations that experts believe contribute heavily to its market value. For example, there have been reports of slight die misalignments, double striking, and off-center strikes which, while small and often unnoticed by the casual observer, are extremely significant to collectors who understand that even the tiniest deviation from perfection can transform a common coin into a rare gem. In addition to these production quirks, the coin's survival rate in pristine condition is another factor in its worth. Most circulated 1996 nickels show signs of wear, minor scratches, or toning that naturally occur over decades of handling, but coins that have remained in near mint or uncirculated condition are exceedingly rare, and it is precisely these unblemished examples that have commanded such astronomical valuations in auctions and private sales. Furthermore, the story of the 1996 nickel intersects with broader trends in the coin collecting world of the 1990s, a period marked by heightened interest in era coins and specialty issues as collectors became more sophisticated and the Internet began to facilitate the rapid dissemination of market information. This digital transformation allowed niche coins like the 1996 nickel to gain widespread attention far beyond local numismatic circles, fueling a competitive market that drives prices ever higher. Another element contributing to the coin's allure is the human fascination with scarcity and probability. Collectors and investors alike understand that there may be only a handful of 1996 nickels exhibiting the key errors or exceptional quality needed to reach this estimated $8 million face value, and the uncertainty surrounding exactly how many such coins exist only adds to the excitement. Every new coin surfacing in a sale can cause ripples through the numismatic community, sparking debates, appraisals, and sometimes even legal battles over ownership or authenticity. And speaking of authenticity, the process of verifying such a coin is an intricate science, involving magnification, measurement, weight checks, and sometimes even metallurgical analysis to ensure that the coin is genuinely a product of the Denver Mint in 1996 and not a later alteration or counterfeit. Reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC play an essential role in this process, providing a standardized grade and certification that can dramatically affect the coin's market value. A top-grade 1996 nickel certified as mint state 70 or near perfect by these authorities can see exponential increases in its value, often far exceeding more commonly circulated examples, while also providing collectors with the peace of mind necessary to invest substantial sums. The story of the 1996 nickel also offers a fascinating glimpse into the psychology of collecting, where rarity, aesthetics, historical significance, and human error combine to create objects that carry a narrative far beyond their monetary face value. Coins like this become talismans of luck, history, and speculation, each one a frozen moment in time that connects its holder to the artisans and technologies of the past. And this narrative is enriched by anecdotal tales of lucky collectors who stumbled upon these nickels and rolls from banks, estate sales, or old coin collections, often unaware that they held a piece worth millions. The social dimension of collecting cannot be underestimated either, with forums, auctions, and collector clubs forming communities where enthusiasts share insights, warnings, and occasional rumors, and it is in this social ecosystem that coins like the 1996 nickel achieve legendary status, not merely for their physical characteristics but for the stories and aspirations they inspire. Furthermore, the economic factors surrounding the coin market play a crucial role in shaping the value of such rare coins. Inflation, precious metal trends, and investor appetite for tangible assets all contribute to fluctuations in coin prices, and in times of financial uncertainty, collectors often view coins as a secure form of investment, adding yet another layer to why a 1996 nickel in flawless condition could command millions of dollars. Historically, the U.S. Mint has occasionally made adjustments in response to changing demand or error occurrences. And while the 1990 D nickel does not have a famous nationwide recall or production halt associated with it, the regular diligence and standards of the mint help explain why. Only a few coins achieve the perfect alignment and detail that make them so highly prized today. Examining the coin itself, the details of Jefferson's portrait, the sharpness of Monticello's engraving, and the overall luster all factor into grading and desirability. A coin that exhibits brilliant surfaces, full details, and no post-mint damage is exceedingly rare and thus extremely valuable, while the errors themselves, be they die cracks, repunched mint marks, or striking anomalies, serve as magnifiers of that rarity, driving bidding wars and competitive sales that sometimes result in jaw-dropping final prices at auction. The intrigue of such coins has even permeated mainstream culture, inspiring articles, social media posts, and video content highlighting the extreme valuations, the hunt for perfection, and the stories of fortunate collectors who uncover these treasures. In essence, the 1996 D nickel is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of the intersection between history, art, human error, and economic speculation, capturing attention far beyond the traditional numismatic community and enticing a wider audience of enthusiasts and casual viewers. In terms of collectible strategy, experts often advise that investing in coins like the 1996 D nickel requires patience, research, and careful verification, as the potential payoff is enormous but the risk of counterfeit or misrepresented pieces is real. One must study past auction results, understand grading nuances, and even develop relationships with reputable dealers and collectors to navigate this high-stakes environment effectively. In addition, preservation is key, as improper storage, handling, or cleaning can drastically reduce a coin's value, making coin holders, capsules, and controlled environments essential tools for any serious collector. This attention to detail reflects the broader philosophy of numismatics, where patience, knowledge, and respect for history converge. And for the 1996 D nickel, this philosophy is magnified by the extreme valuation and rarity of the piece. Some collectors even pursue complete sets of coins with specific mint marks or years, and the 1996 D nickel often serves as the crown jewel of such collections due to its combination of scarcity, condition, and notable errors, while historical documentation of the minting process, production numbers, and contemporary mint practices can provide additional insight into why certain coins become extraordinarily valuable. For instance, mint records can reveal how many coins were struck at the Denver Mint that year, how many were subjected to quality control issues, and how many errors were officially recognized, all of which feed into the coin's mystique and valuation. The storytelling aspect of coins cannot be overstated either, as each coin becomes a narrative bridge linking collectors to the political, cultural, and technological milieu of its era. In the case of the 1996 D nickel, we are looking at a coin struck in a period of relative economic stability but growing interest in collectibles and specialty issues, a context that helps explain why its value has escalated over time. Market dynamics such as the number of active collectors, availability of high-grade examples, and global demand for tangible assets all contribute to the staggering valuation of $8 million for a top-quality specimen. And while casual observers might balk at such a number for a 5-cent coin, those within the numismatic community recognize that it is precisely the convergence of rarity, perfection, historical context, and market psychology that generates these astronomical prices, beyond individual coins. Collections featuring the 1996 D nickel often appreciate not just from the inherent value of the coins but also from the cachet of possessing a historically significant and universally recognized rare piece. This enhances social capital, collector prestige. Next, 1997 D 5-cent coin. Did you know that some coins that seem ordinary in your pocket can actually be worth millions of dollars? Welcome back to our channel, where today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and high-value coins in modern American numismatics, the 1997 D 5-cent coin, a coin whose reported face value is just 5 cents but whose rarity and errors have made it a staggering $11 million in value. And if you think that sounds unbelievable, you're about to discover the intricate world of minting mistakes, rare finds, and the unexpected ways small coins become massive treasures, because in the story of the 1997 Jefferson nickel, what initially seems like a simple circulation coin transforms into a numismatic masterpiece that collectors across the globe covet, and the journey begins with understanding the coin's origin, how it was produced at the Denver Mint in 1997. A year in which standard minting processes were strictly followed but still allowed room for human error and machinery mishaps to create anomalies that later define rarity, starting with the planchet itself, which is the blank metal disc used to strike a coin, because in rare instances, planchets can have imperfections such as being improperly alloyed, having cracks, lamination flaws, or even being misaligned before striking, and the 1997 5 cent is reported to have versions where the planchet shows subtle variations that only expert eyes can detect, making those particular coins immediately more desirable to collectors. And then there's the striking process, where the coin is actually stamped with the design, because errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or die clashes can occur even under highly controlled conditions, and these errors alter the appearance of the coin in ways that are rare and visually distinct, making them highly collectible. And in the case of the 1997 nickel, examples have surfaced with die doubling on the obverse, particularly around Jefferson's portrait and the inscriptions, creating a ghostly duplication effect that excites numismatists who chase anomalies. While other specimens may show subtle overpolishing or dye where that creates variations in texture or the depth of design, and these characteristics can drastically increase the value because collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are distinguishable from the mass-produced standard circulation coins. And it doesn't stop at striking errors because the minting machinery itself can leave unique marks, scratches, or unexpected features like die cracks and cuds, which are raised areas formed when a piece of the die breaks off during the striking process. And the 1997 5 cent coins with such marks are particularly prized because they offer tangible proof of the coin's journey from metal blank to finished piece, making each one a miniature historical artifact. And then there are the rare varieties caused by multiple strikes, off-center errors, or rotated dies, all of which create coins that are visually striking and mathematically scarce, and scarcity is a key factor in driving value. Because even though millions of Jefferson nickels were minted in 1997, only a few dozen may exhibit the extreme errors that make them worthy of millions. And provenance also plays a role because coins that have been authenticated, graded, and preserved in high-quality conditions by professional services are more likely to command top-dollar bids in auctions. And when you combine rarity, error types, visual appeal, and certified condition, you get a coin like the 1997 5-cent nickel that has reportedly sold or is valued at $11 million, a figure that captures the imagination of both casual coin enthusiasts and serious collectors alike. And it's important to understand that numismatics, the study and collection of coins, is both an art and a science, because collectors not only examine the metal composition, minting details, and historical context but also the story behind each coin. And for the 1997 nickel, the story includes a combination of minting anomalies, limited distribution of error coins, and the fervent market demand that creates such extreme valuations. And the history of Jefferson nickels in general also adds depth to the allure, because the design, introduced in 1938, features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello residence on the reverse, making it one of the most iconic U.S. coin designs. And over decades, minor variations, minting errors, and special editions have created a landscape where even modern nickels can fetch astronomical sums if the right error is present, and the 1997 5-cent coin exemplifies this perfectly, because it shows that even in an era of mass production and advanced minting technology, human oversight, equipment idiosyncrasies, and sheer chance can conspire to create coins of exceptional rarity, which is why collectors meticulously examine large quantities of coins from circulation, searching for anomalies that might hint at these rare, high-value specimens. And once a 1997 nickel with an extraordinary error is identified, professional grading and authentication ensure that its unique characteristics are preserved and verified, increasing collector confidence and pushing the value toward multi-million-dollar levels. And the allure is compounded by the narrative that accompanies such coins, because owning a coin that could be worth $11 million isn't just about the financial reward. It's about possessing a tangible piece of minting history that few others in the world can claim, and the stories of these coins often circulate among collectors, dealers, and auction houses, creating a mythology around the 1997 D nickel that amplifies its perceived and actual value, and beyond just die errors, planchet imperfections, and striking anomalies, the coin's condition, or grade, is critical, because even among error coins, only those that are free from extensive wear, corrosion, or damage will achieve top valuations, and grading systems, like those from PCGS or NGC, assign numerical scores to coins, with higher numbers indicating near-perfect condition, which collectors seek for investment purposes and prestige. And when a 1997 D nickel is both rare in its error type and high in grade, it becomes the holy grail of modern numismatics, demonstrating how small details, invisible to casual observers, can translate into immense monetary and historical value. And the fascination with this coin extends beyond the errors themselves to the possibilities they represent. Because they remind us that in a factory producing millions of identical items, uniqueness can emerge by chance, turning an everyday object into a sought-after treasure, and the 1997 D nickel, through its combination of rarity, error types, historical significance, and collectible appeal, perfectly illustrates this phenomenon, and it's also a testament to the dedication of collectors who spend countless hours examining coins, learning about minting processes, and tracking market trends. Because their expertise allows them to spot what most people would overlook, turning a simple 5-cent piece into a potential multi-million-dollar asset, and the coin's value also speaks to the broader market dynamics in numismatics, where scarcity, demand, historical context, condition, and provenance converge to create extraordinary valuations. And it's fascinating to consider that a coin minted for ordinary commerce can become the centerpiece of an investment portfolio, a museum exhibit, or a private collection, elevating it far above its original purpose. And when exploring the specifics of the 1997 D nickel, collectors analyze die markers, mint errors, and subtle variations, looking for clues that indicate its rarity. And each small imperfection, whether it's a doubled die, a die crack, a rotated die, or a lamination flaw, can exponentially increase the coin's value because these errors are inherently unpredictable and difficult to reproduce, which is why the market values them so highly. And in addition to the technical aspects, there's also the thrill and challenge of discovery, because finding a 1997 D nickel with a rare error in a batch of thousands of ordinary nickels is akin to discovering a hidden treasure, and the excitement around such finds keeps collectors actively searching through circulation coins, estate collections, and even uncirculated coin rolls, because the potential payoff, both financial and historical, is immense. And this is why stories of coins like the 1997 D 5-cent nickel capture the imagination of audiences around the world, because they combine elements of history, chance, artistry, investment, and mystery, creating a compelling narrative that transcends the coin's small size and the coin's errors and mistakes, from planchet issues to striking anomalies. Not only define its uniqueness but also serve as tangible evidence of the minting process, showing how even with advanced machinery, human involvement and chance events produce outcomes that cannot be replicated, and collectors value this unpredictability, because it makes each rare coin truly one of a kind. And the extreme value of the 1997 D nickel also highlights the importance of education and expertise in numismatics, because understanding what makes a coin rare, how to identify errors, and how grading affects market value are essential for anyone hoping to navigate the high-stakes world of collectible coins. Next, 1994 P5-cent coin. Today, we have an absolutely fascinating story about one of the most intriguing and highly valuable coins in modern American numismatics, the 1994 P5-cent coin, which has recently caught the attention of collectors worldwide for its staggering estimated value of $6 million, a figure that might surprise many who think of nickels as simple everyday coins. This particular 1994 P nickel stands out not just for its age but for a series of rare errors and mistakes that occurred during its minting at the Philadelphia Mint, making it a true gem in the world of coin collecting, And over the course of this discussion, we're going to explore why this coin is worth so much, how these errors came to be, and the fascinating possibilities that make it a high-stakes treasure for collectors. To begin with, the 1994 P5-cent coin is part of the Jefferson nickel series, which has been a staple of American currency since 1938, and while most coins in circulation from this year are common and worth only face value, the 1994 P coin we're talking about is an exceptional case due to a combination of production errors and anomalies that occurred during the minting process, which experts believe are incredibly rare, and these anomalies significantly increase the coin's value beyond what most collectors would expect. One of the primary errors associated with this coin involves misstrikes during the die preparation, which can include doubled dies, where the design elements of the coin are stamped twice in slightly different positions, causing a noticeable doubling effect on lettering, numbers, or even on Jefferson's portrait itself, and these double die errors are notoriously difficult to detect without close inspection, but when identified, they are highly sought after by collectors because they are both visually striking and extremely rare, creating a sense of exclusivity and prestige around owning such a coin. In addition to doubled dies, some specimens of the 1994 P nickel have been found with off-center strikes, meaning the planchet, or coin blank, was not perfectly aligned in the press when the design was stamped, resulting in portions of the coin's design being cut off or appearing asymmetrical, and this type of error not only adds to the visual uniqueness of the coin but also drastically increases its scarcity, as modern minting processes are designed to minimize such mistakes, making each authentic off-center strike a collector's dream. Another contributing factor to the coin's value comes from die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the minting dies themselves develop small cracks from repeated use, transferring these imperfections onto the coin's surface, often creating raised lines or unusual textures that are highly desirable to those who specialize in error coins, and in some cases, these die cracks can form patterns that are particularly interesting or aesthetically appealing, further driving up the demand and market price for these coins. In certain rare instances, 1994 P nickels have also exhibited planchet errors, such as improper alloy composition, lamination flaws, or even clipped planchets where part of the coin's metal was inadvertently removed during production, and these planchet errors are considered exceptional because they occur before the die even comes into play, meaning they are intrinsic to the coin's very creation, making them fundamentally different from surface-level minting mistakes and adding another layer of rarity that serious collectors are willing to pay a premium for. Beyond the technical aspects, the historical context of the 1994 P nickel contributes to its allure, as the mid-1990s were a transitional period for the U.S. Mint, with significant changes in technology, quality control, and production methods. And coins from this era that exhibit errors are often seen as the last vestiges of older minting practices, combining the artistry of traditional techniques with the emerging precision of modern machinery, and this combination makes the 1994 P nickel a particularly interesting study for numismatists who value both history and rarity. Furthermore, the provenance and discovery stories of these coins amplify their mystique, with some specimens being unearthed in unexpected places like circulation pockets, old coin rolls, or even stored collections that were forgotten for decades, and each discovery adds a unique narrative that collectors love to share, as owning a coin with a story attached makes it more than just currency. It becomes a piece of living history, and in the case of the 1994 P5 cent, the stories of how these errors were found and authenticated only enhance the perception of value, driving bids higher in auctions and private sales. Another dimension to consider is the role of grading and certification in establishing the coin's value, as organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) meticulously examine coins for authenticity, condition, and the presence of errors, and a 1994 P nickel that earns a high grade with verified errors can command prices exponentially higher than ungraded or uncertified specimens, reflecting the confidence that buyers have in both the coin's legitimacy and its long-term investment potential. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to this coin not only because of its errors but also because it represents a tangible, finite resource, with the 1994p nickel being part of a limited production run, and when combined with the rarity of significant errors, the result is a coin that has become almost mythical in its desirability, with some collectors even referring to it as the Holy Grail of modern nickels due to the convergence of historical significance, rarity, and aesthetic intrigue. In addition, market trends over the past decades have demonstrated that era coins, particularly those with documented provenance and high-grade certification, have consistently appreciated in value, meaning that the 1994 P5 cent is not only a collectible item but also a potential investment vehicle, as serious numismatists understand that acquiring such a coin early can yield substantial returns if demand continues to outpace supply. And the $6 million valuation reflects both the current market sentiment and the premium placed on scarcity and uniqueness in the coin collecting community. Interestingly, the fascination with this coin extends beyond numismatics into pop culture and media, with high-profile auction stories, documentaries, and online discussions bringing attention to the extraordinary price tag and the meticulous characteristics that make the coin so rare, which in turn fuels interest from new collectors, investors, and even casual enthusiasts, creating a feedback loop where publicity drives demand, and demand reinforces value, further cementing the coin's status as one of the most sought-after modern American nickels. While some skeptics may question whether a 5-cent coin can truly reach a $6 million valuation, experts point to documented sales, verified era characteristics, and the overall scarcity of high-grade specimens as justification, highlighting that the coin's worth is not based on face value but on the combination of rarity, era type, condition, historical significance, and market dynamics, all of which converge to make the 1994 P5 cent an exceptional and highly coveted piece. It's also worth noting that the variability in era types among different specimens adds another layer of complexity and excitement, as no two era coins are exactly alike, and collectors often seek out multiple varieties, comparing differences in doubling, strike alignment, die cracks, and planchet anomalies, which creates a vibrant submarket within the larger coin collecting community where enthusiasts can specialize and trade based on highly specific characteristics, further driving interest and valuations. For anyone considering entering the world of era coin collecting, the 1994 P5 cent serves as both an aspirational example and a cautionary tale, illustrating the need for careful research, verification, and authentication, as the high stakes involved in coins valued in the millions demand a rigorous understanding of grading standards, error classifications, and market behavior, and those who approach this with diligence and knowledge are best positioned to benefit from the opportunities that such rare coins present. Furthermore, the 1994 P nickel exemplifies the intersection of art, history, and science in numismatics, as each era reflects a unique interaction of mechanical forces, material properties, and human oversight, creating a tangible artifact that embodies both the technological challenges of minting and the human fascination with perfection and imperfection, which is why coins like this resonate so deeply with collectors who appreciate the story behind the object as much as its market value. In summary, the 1994 P5 cent coin's $6 million valuation is the result of a perfect storm of factors, including rare and visually striking errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet anomalies, and historical context that elevates its significance. Last, today we are diving into a truly fascinating and mind-blowing topic that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and numismatists around the world: the 2002 P5 cent coin from the United States. A coin that has made headlines not just for its rarity, but for the astronomical value it can command due to specific errors and minting anomalies that make it a golden opportunity for anyone lucky enough to get their hands on one. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, a coin that most people might dismiss as ordinary, but in reality, this seemingly simple nickel could be worth millions, $4 million, to be precise, because of a combination of mistakes, misstrikes, and unusual characteristics that occurred during its production at the Philadelphia Mint. Before we get into the details, let's set the stage for why the 2002 P5 cent has become such a coveted collector's item. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, known for producing coins that enter circulation nationwide, typically maintains very high standards of quality control, but even in the most precise systems, errors can and do occur. In 2002, a series of errors affected the production of the Jefferson nickel, which led to coins with unusual characteristics that collectors immediately identified as highly valuable. One of the most significant types of errors found on this coin is the double die obverse (DDO), where the die used to strike the coin imprints the design twice, slightly offset, creating a shadow or doubling effect on key elements of the design such as Jefferson's profile, the lettering of Liberty, or the date. This doubling is not something you'll notice at first glance. It requires a keen eye and sometimes magnification to appreciate fully, but for numismatists, the presence of a clear and strong double die on a coin from this series can dramatically increase its value. But the double die is just one of several potential anomalies that make the 2002 P5 cent so unique. Another well-documented error is die cracks or die breaks, which occur when the die itself develops a fissure or chip due to stress during the striking process. When a coin is struck with a damaged die, raised lines or irregularities appear on the coin's surface, creating a unique pattern that cannot be replicated, making each affected coin one of a kind. Some collectors have even reported seeing coins with what appears to be a die crack running across Jefferson's shoulder or through the motto, "In God We Trust," giving the coin an immediately distinguishable and highly collectible appearance. Beyond doubling and die cracks, there are also instances of off-center strikes or clipped planchets in the 2002 P nickels, where the coin's metal blank wasn't perfectly aligned with the die, resulting in a portion of the design missing or an irregular edge. While these coins might seem defective or flawed to the untrained eye, collectors know that such mistakes actually enhance the coin's rarity and value, and in some cases, an off-center strike can make a coin worth thousands of dollars more than its face value, especially when combined with other errors. What makes the 2002 P5 cent even more extraordinary is the fact that multiple types of errors can appear on a single coin, compounding its desirability. A nickel exhibiting both doubling and die cracks, for instance, or an off-center strike with doubling, is considered a major rarity and can fetch a price in the multi-million-dollar range, as experienced collectors and auction records have shown. Some coins from this year have even been attributed with a rotated die error, where the front and back dies are misaligned relative to each other, causing the obverse and reverse designs to appear rotated, a very rare phenomenon that instantly elevates a coin's collectible status. The combination of all these errors, along with the general scarcity of well-preserved coins from this particular batch, creates a perfect storm for valuation, which explains how a 2002 P nickel could be estimated at $4 million in the market. Numismatic experts often emphasize that the condition of the coin, its grade, is equally important as the type of error. Coins that remain uncirculated or show minimal wear will naturally command a higher price than those that are heavily handled or worn down, because collectors and investors want specimens that clearly display the unique errors without any ambiguity. For this reason, even among coins with identical errors, those graded as MS65 or higher by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC), often sell for exponentially higher amounts. Furthermore, the historical context and collector demand contribute to the coin's high value. The Jefferson nickel series has been in continuous production since 1938, and over the decades, certain years have become notorious for minting anomalies. The 2002 P coin belongs to a period when collectors were highly active in monitoring and identifying new varieties, creating an immediate market for coins with unique mistakes. Auctions, private sales, and coin shows have all contributed to building awareness that these nickels are not just ordinary currency but rare pieces of numismatic history with potential investment returns rivaling those of gold or other precious metals. Another fascinating aspect of the 2002 P5 cent coin is the role of technology in identifying and verifying these errors. High-resolution photography, digital magnification, and even X-ray fluorescence can be used to authenticate doubling, die cracks, and other anomalies, ensuring that buyers are confident in what they are purchasing. Given the millions of dollars involved, authentication is crucial, and the rigorous verification process further adds to the coin's legitimacy and value in the eyes of collectors. In addition, the storytelling behind these coins is part of what makes them so appealing. Each era represents a moment in the minting process where human oversight, mechanical pressure, and metal behavior converge to create something that was never intended but has become a treasured rarity. Collectors are not just buying a coin, they are buying a piece of history, a snapshot of minting operations in 2002, and the thrill of owning something that is so rare it could be considered nearly one of a kind. The provenance of the coin, its ownership history and documentation, also plays a key role in establishing value. Coins with verified origin, backed by expert certifications, often achieve record-breaking prices at auctions because buyers have confidence in their authenticity and historical importance. In some cases, coins from the 2002 P series have surfaced from collections maintained by professional numismatists for decades, each coin carrying a story of discovery, acquisition, and preservation that enhances its mystique. Beyond these technical details, the psychology of collecting and investment also drives the $4 million valuation. When collectors recognize that a coin is not only rare but also part of a broader trend of minting errors in a given year, the demand skyrockets. Scarcity combined with desirability and high-profile auction results creates a self-reinforcing cycle, pushing prices higher and making early acquisition extremely lucrative for those who understand the market. Many investors treat high-end numismatics, such as the 2002 P5 era coins, as tangible assets that can hedge against economic uncertainty, much like gold or other collectible items, because they combine historical significance with material scarcity. In fact, the allure of owning a coin that represents both a legal tender and a multimillion-dollar collectible is unmatched. It is a piece of art, a historical document, and a financial asset all rolled into one small, metallic package. Collectors also pay attention to minute variations in the eras themselves. For instance, in the case of the double die, the strength and placement of the doubling matter, whether it affects Jefferson's cheek, the date, or the lettering, and how prominent it is can influence pricing by tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The same is true for die cracks. Long, dramatic cracks that cross major design elements are more valuable than small, insignificant ones. All these subtleties create a rich landscape of collectible varieties within a single year and mint mark, which is why specialized guides and databases have emerged to document every known error from 2002 P nickels. Beyond individual coins, trends in the market can also affect value. When auction houses promote high-profile sales of coins with similar errors, interest spikes, attracting both seasoned collectors and new investors looking to acquire a piece of numismatic history. Media coverage, online marketplaces, and social media communities further amplify the allure, turning certain coins into viral sensations in the coin collecting world. In essence, the 2002 P5 coin represents a perfect convergence of rarity, era type, historical context, grading, provenance, and market psychology, all of which combine to create its $4 million valuation. Collectors seek these coins not just for their potential return on investment but for the thrill of owning something unique, a tangible piece of history that embodies the complexity, unpredictability, and artistry of coin minting.